Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Happy to be here. And of course, if you're just joining for the very first time, first of all, Happy New Year again to those that are new, joining for the first time. And for my old, viewers, Happy New Year too. This is the Dr. Nia Adesanya Show where I share information, resources to help SMEs thrive. All right. So I have another interesting topic. And of course, everything I say is for informative and educative purposes only. Now, of course, what do we do in this new year? I mean, I'm sure some of you already started planning in 2024 for 2025 because that's awesome. Q1 means, of course, quarter one for 2025. But let's say you didn't do that. No problem. There's no problem. But I want you to hit the ground running. What do I mean by that? Sit back and write down your goals. That's the topic of today. Goal setting. I know I have a show that is a longer version of this, and I'm not going to go into all those details, but I just want to prep all of us to make sure that we plan for this 2025. If you don't plan, if you don't have goals, I mean, how do you measure your success in this year, 2025? And so, I mean, you might say, I want to be a successful business in 2025. What does that mean? Okay. What does it mean? Right. You can go through the smart mnemonics where I just talked about it. You can look it up, smart goals, right? How to make sure it's specific and all those and measurable and all those good stuff. But let's not be ambiguous. Let's just not say things that, you know what, I want to just make sure that my business is successful, right? So again, what does that mean? Are you going to get more clients, more customers? Are you going to get out in marketing? What are you doing to make sure that it's successful? And how do you measure success? Is it the reach or is it your profit, right? Because profit, right? The reach also drives profit. What are you looking at? Is it a product change? What are you actually looking at when you're setting your goals? Very important, right? I always say that I know I have already spoken about a budget. Make sure you go and look at the video about budgets, projections, budgets, projections. What are your plans financially for the business? Maybe you looked at your your financials in 2024. People will say, oh, but your tax return hasn't been prepared. This is not about your tax return, right? A business should know how much the business is making, maybe monthly, weekly. Some people do it weekly. Some people even do it quarterly. You have to know where you are, right? Where do you stand when it comes to, your business? Again, how do you want to set it up when it comes to measurement, right? You might say, you know what? I've been spending so much in this category, maybe entertainment expenses, right? I need to cut that down for my business because I want to have more money in my pocket. So make sure number one, you're planning, setting goals, writing things down, right? What are your strategies? What is it that you want to do? Goal setting, very important, right? Set your goals, make sure they're specific, measurable, and of course, make sure there's time tied to it. You might say, okay, you know what? I want to make sure that my sales increase. Are you looking at it based on maybe Q1 sales? Are you looking at maybe, and then in Q1 sales would be time, right? By Q1, you want the sales to increase by 20%. Or, and you can say the 20% is actually the measurement, right? That's the right? And then the time, when do you want it to happen? And how do you make it happen? You know, I met somebody not too long, well, should I say couple of years back, and I found her email address very, very interesting. Her email address said, talk is cheap at, I think, at something.com, one of these Gmail, Yahoo. But I said, oh, honestly, that was her email address. So we're not in the category of just speaking about stuff, right? We're not here to just speak. Of course, I always say that the modalities of, I mean, this is, of course, a general information. The modalities of doing all these things I'm saying is important to work with a professional. And if you don't have a CPA that's working with you, please don't hesitate to reach out to in the Destiny CPA PLLC, right? Reach out to my firm, set up a consultation meeting with me, then we can move forward to show you how to go about these things. But it's important to know. And of course, if you have someone you're working with, please, kudos, right? Kudos, right? That's not a problem. But this is some things you have to know, right? Making sure your business moves forward in 2025. It's not just saying things like, oh, successful business and all that thing. Those things are good. Having a successful business, awesome. How are you going to make it successful? Right? What are the things you need to put in place to make it successful? Right? You want to have maybe you want your staff to you want to have your staff to have a good time in the office. What are some things you need to do? I had mentioned this before, or I've mentioned this before in one of my shows that you know staff retention, keeping your staff is or retention is good, but keeping your staff, right, making sure that they're not leaving you, which is staff turnover, is very expensive. How is that expensive? You have to spend time to train them. Training somebody, remember, is downtime for you. You instead of focusing on something else which could be productive for your business, you're using that time to train. So it's okay to train a new staff, but if you continue training new staff every month, every 2 months, then there's something going on, right? You don't want that to happen. You want you to keep your staff. So maybe there's something happening there. You want to make sure that you retain your staff. What are you doing to make sure that your staff stay in your company, right? Those are some of the things that you want to make changes, right? Because having a staff stay in your company is actually reducing your costs, right? And hiring and then training and all the stuff, right? Very important, right? How do you keep your staff? So those are some of the areas of improvement. There could be so many, because so many areas, like, for example, people think that it's only when you increase your revenue, which is good, that's when you make profit. There are two ways to make profit. One is to increase your revenue and your expenses remain the same, right? Let's say you increase your revenue. But another way is even if you are not increasing your revenue so much, but your expenses decrease, you're going to make profit. So could there be an expense that you're looking at and you're wondering, maybe there's something wrong here? I mentioned an example, right? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun and have meals and entertainment. I didn't meals because entertainment is not deductible anymore. So of course there are conditions that apply. All right. So just wanted us to have that out there. So again, wonderful 2025. We're all, projecting, a great time, beautiful year coming forward, getting into a new beautiful year. Very important for us to make sure that we, know how to work towards a beautiful 2025 for our businesses, right? Great success and all those good stuff, right? Very important for us to be part of making that happen, not just saying it, right? Of course. Okay. So strategies, make sure you put down strategies. Of course, write it down, check. Check if there's maybe you have a budget, you check if there's maybe a variance that is positive as opposed to negative and all those stuff. But again, I don't want to get too technical, right? Just make sure that you're really looking at ways, right? Setting those goals and making it happen. Setting those goals and making them, all those goals, all the goals that you set in place, make that happen. All right. And of course, you know what? If you're looking for a CPA to work with, here to help. All righty. So great to have you. Wonderful year for all of us. And thanks for being here. And of course, right, to make your business, your SME, which is small and medium-sized enterprise SME, to thrive, you have to be what? Intentional. All right. See you next time.